BNC, Bills News Consolidated. Join the chat. Comments, questions, concerns. Join up, join the party. Buffalo Bills, week 2 versus the Tennessee Titans. Are you kidding me right now? Monday Night Football, time to get hyped up. We got lots to talk about in the side column here. We got matchups. We're going to be looking at all the matchups. Bills versus Titans, player-to-player matchups. I think that is super key to this game, and it gives us such great insight into what is ultimately going to happen. You know, when you talk about fantasy football-wise, we got Thursday Night Football tonight. We're going to be balling out. I just kind of want to show you what we got working tonight, baby. We're going to be looking at the Tennessee Titans offensive line. We're going to be taking a look at the Tennessee Titans skilled players. We can take a look down here at the Tennessee Titans defensive depth chart. Take a look at their ratings right next to their names, too. We can clearly see that, you know, they got some beast mode freaking players on their defense like Jeffrey Simmons and also Kevin Bernard. So we're going to be reviewing all that tonight in this episode of the BNC Rundown. I hope you guys enjoy the BNC Rundown. If you guys do, make sure you consider liking. If you are watching this live, feel free to comment any questions, concerns. Buffalo Bills, baby, this is the roadmap to the Super Bowl. We got to start. Let's start right here with our guy, Josh Allen versus Ryan Tannehill. And I think it's important to take a look at both these quarterbacks. You know, I know they're not necessarily going against one another. Like, it's not a wide receiver going against a cornerback, right? But it still gives us a good idea of where the Buffalo Bills stand in terms of our team versus Ryan Tannehill and the Titans, right? And I think we got to look at Ryan Tannehill and just make sure, you know, see where he's good, where he's not good, right? So let's just take a look. We could see here Josh Allen versus Ryan Tannehill. Josh Allen is rated 92 overall. Ryan Tannehill is rated 83. But what's interesting, and I think Ryan Tannehill needs more credit for this, is his speed and acceleration rating. I mean, he's just as capable a runner as Josh Allen. What's so intriguing with Josh Allen is the fact that he's so big, right? And I think he's more agile too, which you can see he's clearly more agile. But Ryan Tannehill, I mean, he's fast and he's quick, you know? So we got to be concerned of Ryan Tannehill's ability to take off and run with the football. And another area I don't think people give Ryan Tannehill enough credit for is actually his arm strength. Like, Ryan Tannehill has an ability to throw and make every throw on the field. It's not that he has a weak arm. You know, sometimes he can muscle the ball right in there. We can see Josh Allen, freaking 99, throwing power, strength. That's huge. And Ryan Tannehill's is 89. So, I mean, got to take a look at that. And one other thing I just want you guys to consider, Malik Willis. I mean, God forbid, Ryan Tannehill goes down with an injury early in this game, or maybe the game kind of gets away, or maybe Tennessee Titans decide to put in Malik Willis. How scary was he during the preseason? I mean, he played very well during the preseason. Rookie, and look at his ability here. Look at his speed. Faster than Josh Allen. Look at his acceleration. He's a little bit quicker than Josh Allen, right? And then also the throwing power. We talk about the ability of just like gunslinging things in there. 94 throw power strength for Malik Willis. So I'm thinking chances are we won't see Malik Willis in this game, but you never know. Maybe if the game gets away from the Tennessee Titans that we see him. But if you guys are watching this live, please make sure you hit like, ask any questions, participate. You know, we're going to be rocking this thing out. Josh Allen versus Ryan Tannehill, we balling out. Josh Allen clearly has the advantage here over Ryan Tannehill. And next thing we want to compare are the Tennessee Titans or running backs. Derrick Henry, obviously some people say he's the best running back in the NFL, but he does have some deficiencies, and I want to prove that to you. And then they also have another little scat back. Dontrell Hilliard. Let's take a look at both their running backs, guys. Here they are. Bing, bang, boom. BNC Rundown did it for you right here. So you can see Derrick Henry, man, rated 97 overall, whereas Dontrell Hilliard is 69. You know, this is huge. This is huge. Buffalo Bills, you know, the idea here is just understanding their speed is the same, right? So understanding what Derrick Henry is actually capable of. I mean, a 240 plus pound running back and Derrick Henry being as fast as a quick, lightweight, hardly 200-pound Dontrell Hilliard. But there's a difference that we need to eye up here, and it's their acceleration, right? Derrick Henry's ability to get to his top speed is slower than Dontrell Hilliard's. And I think that's what makes them different in their skill sets. And what I'm trying to prove here is that the Buffalo Bills need penetration in this Tennessee Titans offensive line in order to slow Derrick Henry's momentum. When Derrick Henry gets his momentum going forward, that's a lot of weight moving forward. And once he gets up in acceleration, once he gets up into his top speed, he's very, very tough to bring down. And we actually saw it that last week, Derrick Henry, we see him actually every week. Derrick Henry stiff-arming people, throwing them to the ground. But last week, we saw Derrick Henry, someone went high on Derrick Henry. Like, who would ever think to go high on Derrick Henry? I mean, you see Derrick Henry running at you, you're like, oh, I'm going low, I'm grabbing his ankles, right? And 99.99% of the time, that's what freaking everyone is doing, going for their ankles. But last week, man, someone broke the trend. So I think someone was just like, I'm going high on Derrick Henry. They went high and laid their shoulder into Derrick Henry's shoulder. And I don't know if he was surprised. I don't know if he was like shocked that someone went high on him because he's so big. But he went flying. He went flying, man. And I want to see someone on the Buffalo Bills test Derrick Henry. You know, F your stiff arm, man. You know what I'm saying? Come at me. Because when you're running at Derrick Henry, you put your helmet down. You're running at him. You put your helmet down. You that split second, you take your eyes off. You right, and you always look at their hips. You know that's what we were taught. You look at their hips. So you're going at their hips, and your peripheral vision actually gets off of their arms and their upper body, and you can't see. So you're looking at their hips in that split second. Derrick Henry has it figured out, and he's got the strength to just go, plow, get out my way, you know? And I think it's wise to actually keep your eyes on his upper body and go for that upper body on Derrick Henry. And as crazy as it sounds, you just gotta, I guess you gotta have guts. And, you know, if he lowers his shoulders, though, man, watch out. Watch out. That's the risk you play. But I think the hit that we saw on Derrick Henry, you didn't see the guy coming. So I guess you gotta keep that in mind, too. But, guys, comments, questions, concerns, even if you're not live watching this, let me know in the chat. We balling out here. Buffalo Bills offensive line versus the Buffalo Bills. Offensive line versus the Tennessee Titans defensive line. Let's check this out, guys. We gotta ball out. Let's take a look here. You know, it's really gonna be interesting. This matchup. You can see here. Tennessee Titans defensive line. DeMarcus Walker, Tart, and we all already spoke about it, was Jeffrey Simmons. Jeffrey Simmons is no joke of a freaking defensive lineman, but I want to prove to you that Jeffrey Simmons, he's got a tough matchup going against actually Roger Saffold. So let's see here. I'm gonna pull this up here, guys. Let me just show you really quick. Jeffrey Simmons versus Saffold, and look at this matchup. So Jeffrey Simmons is rated 88 overall. Saffold is 80. I mean, this is a fair matchup. Saffold did excellent against Aaron Donald as well. I'm really liking this. I think the Bills should be hyped up that we have Roger Saffold. Now, if you take a look at another interior guy like Ryan Bates did pretty well against Aaron Donald last week. You can see that their strength here at least somewhat is close, right? Ryan Bates has 86 strength. Jeffrey Simmons is 97 strength. Be a tough matchup to stop Jeffrey Simmons. Two different body types of Aaron Donald and Jeffrey Simmons. I think Jeffrey Simmons is more of like a bull rusher type, whereas Aaron Donald, he's a little bit more athletic, a little bit more of a pass rusher. Going to be interesting to see how the Bills handle that. And I think Roger Saffold, Ryan Bates, Deion Dawkins, Mitch Morris, Spencer Brown, they should definitely do an excellent job against the Tennessee Titans defensive line. Really specific matchups on the perimeter. We're going to see really Deion Dawkins going against some top-notch talent for the Tennessee Titans. You can see here. Now, they play that 3-4 scheme, so it gets a little bit confusing. But Deion Dawkins is going to be going against DeNarco Autry, as well as this DeMarco Walker, defensive end DeMarco Walker. So we could take a look at Dawkins' ratings here. And Walker and Autry. Let me get out of the way really quick so you guys can see. Here are the ratings. You know, really, DeNarco Autry versus Deion Dawkins is the matchup to watch. Pretty fair matchup, but Deion Dawkins is still the better player for these ratings, which is absolutely huge. Not really an advantage for them in any way. On that side, now when looking at Spencer Brown probably has the tougher matchup in here, and you're going to see that Brown is going to be going against Bud Dupree, you know, and I should have probably wrote his first name because there's so many Browns in the NFL, but Dupree. Check this matchup out. So Bud Dupree definitely has the advantage here. Look at their strength rating, though. Spencer Brown, 91 strength, and Bud Dupree is only 76. Speed is Bud Dupree at 85, and Spencer Brown is 74. So really think they have the advantage there on the right tackle, but that is really the only spot where they have a tremendous advantage over us. You know, Buffalo Bills offensive line should definitely be able to handle this. Should be able to handle it. So, going to be interesting. Deion Dawkins or in Taylor Lewan. Now this kind of boils down to the matchups, right? We're going to be getting into the Buffalo Bills defensive line, but we already showed you Deion Dawkins is the better player out of any of their defensive linemen and outside linebackers that will be rushing against him. Spencer Brown, you can't say the same because of Bud Dupree being 6 points better than Spencer Brown. But the huge advantage here are really Von Miller and Greg Rousseau. And we're going to get into that later in this feed. But the next thing I want to jump to is actually Dawson Knox versus the Tennessee Titans linebackers. So we got to really take a look at this 3-4 scheme. Majority of the time they're in nickel. You know, I get it. They're not going to be playing in that 3-4 scheme. So we're going to be seeing three corners out there. But really, what I want to take a look at is Dawson Knox versus their interior linebackers. So you got David Long and Zach Cunningham. David Long is rated 72. Zach Cunningham is 77. And Dawson Knox, I mean, he's a baller, man. Knox, Cunningham, and Long. Check this out. I want to show you their speed difference here between all three of these guys. And Knox really has a huge advantage in this matchup. And I think Dawson Knox would be a player to start in this game. You know, fantasy-wise, if you're looking at a tight end to start, Dawson Knox had to go against Bobby Wagner last week and Leonard Floyd. So look at the speed ratings. Dawson Knox is rated the best at 83. Zach Cunningham, 78. You guys see it. So 87 overall speed for Knox. Cunningham is 82, and Long is 84. Huge advantage for Bills Mafia. Dawson Knox should definitely pop off against the Tennessee Titans linebackers. You guys, comments, questions, concerns. If you're watching this live, you know, let me know. Let me know if you like this setup. But we're going to be moving on here, going through the columns one by one. Buffalo Bills wide receivers versus the Tennessee Titans. Woo-wee! We got some dynamic wide receivers. Stefon Diggs against Jalen Ramsey last week. Are you kidding me? I mean, geez. I mean, who could possibly stop Stefon Diggs? I mean, do the Tennessee Titans have a better cornerback than Jalen Ramsey? And I'll tell you right now, they don't. They definitely do not. The cornerbacks on their team are Kyle Fulton and Roger McCreary, and then they kind of mix and rotate at the slot position. So I just want to show you guys here. Fulton versus Stefon Diggs. Oh, Christian Fulton, my bad. Christian Fulton is 77 overall, whereas Stephon Diggs is 95 overall. I already mentioned, we all saw what Stephon Diggs did to Jalen Ramsey. Are you kidding me right now? So what do you think? What do you guys think Stephon Diggs is going to do to this Christian Fulton? What do you guys think? They actually have Stephon Diggs. They have Stephon Diggs rated worse than Jalen Ramsey in the game, and Diggs roasted Ramsey. So what do you think he's going to do to Christian Fulton? I mean, get Stephon Diggs in your freaking lineup, guys. Get Stephon Diggs in your lineup. That's a huge advantage for the Buffalo Bills. Really, really loving that matchup for the Bills. Now we have other wide receivers. Obviously, Gabe Davis playing on the outside. It's going to be awesome matchup. So we could take a look. Let's take a look at all their other perimeter cornerbacks. They got Roger McCreary, Caleb Farley. McCreary does play slot, but this is really going to be the matchup here. Gabe Davis. Let's see. I'll just show you. Gabe Davis. Oops. Versus, my bad, guys. Farley. Caleb Farley. So you guys could see, right? And Gabe Davis statistically is the better guy here, looking at the stats. And Gabe Davis, I think, is underrated. And I think he should be able to exploit them on the other side. Now, it's not as big as of a difference as Stephon Diggs, right? But, hey, I'd take that too. Gabe Davis can have a heck of a game. But really, for me, I would prefer this matchup. I could see really all three doing really well. You know, the Diggs, Gabe Davis, as well as Dawson Knox. I could really see them all having good games. I know Dawson Knox is going to have a better game, regardless of what he did last week against Bobby Wagner, Leonard Floyd. You know, he doesn't have that in this matchup. So Dawson Knox is definitely going to have a better game than what he had last week. Could definitely, whatever he did statistically, you could just say for sure he will statistically have a better game this week, without a doubt, in this matchup. Buffalo Bills, wide receivers. Obviously, we got Isaiah McKenzie out there, Jamison Crowder, and they do rotate guys in that slot position. But, you know, Tennessee Titans, they don't really have anyone matching up there. Really, it's the back end. There's safeties with Kevin Bernard being 91 overall, Amani Hooker, 80 overall. And this Ugo Amandi, they have him slotted at nickel on here. And also Roger McCreary plays nickel as well. So they're both 70 and 71, whereas Crowder is 80 overall. And McKenzie, I believe, is 79 overall, 76 overall. So statistically, we do have an advantage over their slot position players here. As you can see. But yeah, comments, questions, concerns. Optimus Prime says that game was great and I saw it at SoFi. Diggs, Davis, and Knox put on the work. Welcome back. Welcome back to Optimus. I'm so happy you're here to join me tonight discussing the Buffalo Bills Week 2 Monday night matchup versus the Tennessee Titans. Are you hyped up or what, baby? Get freaking hyped up. 1-0. Heading on to 2-0. They just lost to the New York Giants and Brian Daboll. Year one of a brand new regime with the Giants and brand new offense, and they come out and they beat the Tennessee Titans. That is a great sign for the Buffalo Bills. Now, I know week one is a little bit different, but I really think the Buffalo Bills have a great opportunity here to beat the Tennessee Titans convincingly. Vincent in the chat says, I would say Buffalo 50, Titans 10, just like when the Bills faced the Patriots on that wild card game last year. Man, we could destruct them that badly. I could see that very, very... Dude, I'm telling you, there are some weak points in this team, and as I've been progressing through this video, we've been seeing it. The Bills have an edge, and we're going to be getting right into it next year. The Buffalo Bills defensive line versus the Tennessee Titans offensive line, and it really starts with actually Von Miller against Taylor Lewan. And from a distance, you would say, oh, geez, they got Taylor Lewan going against Von Miller. That's a pretty even matchup. But, guys, check it out. Look at these ratings here. Von Miller versus Taylor Lewan. this is one of the best matchups that the Buffalo Bills have in this game. We're 11 points higher. Von Miller is 11 points higher than Taylor Lewan. That's a huge, huge statistical advantage rushing off the edge against Taylor Lewan. And it's not just that against Von Miller and Taylor Lewan. Who else do they have on the opposite side? Well, we have Greg Rousseau, right? And then they got Nicolas Petit-Fier. And check out the ratings here. Another 10-point rating plus for the Buffalo Bills. So Von Miller is 11 points better than Taylor Lewan. Greg Rousseau is 11 points better than their starting right tackle. Talk about a pass rush on Ryan Tannehill. That's why I've been saying it all week. If we get up by 2 or more possessions, there is no way that the Tennessee Titans are going to be coming back in this game. They cannot keep up with us. Years past, without the pass rush, teams might be able to keep up with us. But now with the pass rush, they can't do it, especially if they don't have an offensive line. And clearly, the Tennessee Titans don't have an offensive line. It's about the players being matched up against our players. Taylor Lewan, from a distance, is a solid starting left tackle. But going against Von Miller, that's a struggle. That's a definite struggle. And then what else I want to show you guys... what else I want to show you guys here is really the Tennessee Titans starting offensive line. Oops, I'm sorry here. Right, here we go. I got the screen a little bit messed up. I'm trying to read your comments here, guys. Comments, questions. Super hyped optimist said, Bills Mafia, we need all the support. The run game was better this time around. We definitely will be stopping the run this time around. So against the Tennessee Titans, guys. See, the national media, they take a while to jump on things, right? They don't understand and believe in Sean McDermott and Leslie Frazier. Like, we know as Bills fans what we are capable of coaching on this defense. Like, we know we are capable of stopping the run. And now with Shaq Lawson, right? We didn't even use him last week, but he could be starting this week. Shaq Lawson, Daquan Jones, Tim Settle, Ed Oliver, all these guys, even Von Miller, right? It is a dynamic thing to see going against the Tennessee Titans offensive line. So let's just pull this up. I just want to do some player comparisons. The real weak links on the Tennessee Titans, you guys are going to clearly see, is their left guard, Aaron Brewer. Other than their tackles in the interior of their offensive line, the weakest point is that left guard, Aaron Brewer. They're going to be going against some great defensive tackles for the Buffalo Bills. So let's just take a look at the matchup. Aaron Brewer versus Ed Oliver. That's a tough matchup for them, I'd say, right? 63 overall versus 81. That's huge for the Bills. What about another speedier guy like Tim Settle? Tim Settle, 73 overall, a 10-point rating. So not only does Greg Rousseau have a 10-point rating, Von Miller has a 10-point rating over his player. Tim Settle, Ed Oliver, they all have 10-plus ratings over these guys. Actually, Ed Oliver, look at that. Ed Oliver has a huge rating over this dude, So 17, right? 18. He's got the same 18 points. He's got the same as Stefon Diggs over his player. So I think Ed Oliver and Stefon Diggs are going to have the biggest games for the Buffalo Bills. That's what I'm projecting at this point right now. If Ed Oliver is a go, if he's healthy, hopefully his ankle is good to go. Another guy we could really look at too, Phillips. It really could be any of these guys that have a huge game. Really depends. Ed Oliver, Jordan Phillips, Stefon Diggs, even Dawson Knox projecting some big time games. The running game for the Bills, I don't know about the running game. The Titans on defense, they're a stout, physical type defense. The Bills, we need to come out, spread that ball around, maybe some screens. Can't wait to see what Ken Dorsey does in week 2. He had all offseason to game plan and know who his opponent was going to be and prepare. And now the test is on. Week 2 for Ken Dorsey. This is a true test now. This is a true test for Ken Dorsey to see what's up. But a huge advantage for the Buffalo Bills is this defensive line. We shatter them. Our defensive line shatters the Tennessee Titans offensive line. We should freaking rip right through them. Every which way. And that's why I said at the beginning of this video, we could very well see Malik Willis. We could see it. Now, what helps the Buffalo Bills defensive backs and Kaiir Elam and Christian Benford and Dane Jackson is the fact that we're going to have this pass rush. If we maintain a pass rush that we had last week to this week, and I already mentioned, I think we're going to have a better pass rush. Really think, man, the Bills are going to benefit. And they don't have a Cooper Kupp. They don't have an Allen Robinson, right? We got to take a look. They do have a pretty solid player, ex-Buffalo Bill, for the Tennessee Titans, and that would be Robert Woods. So let's just take a look here at Robert Woods, who's rated 87 overall. He's going to be matched up most likely on Dane Jackson, but we all know Robert Woods plays in the slot. He can play on the other side, so we might see him against Christian Benford and Kaiir Elam. Treylon Burks, their rookie, will be mixed in on the outside and also in the slot. The slot wide receiver, the guy that most likely won't really be playing on the outside, is this Nick Westbrook. Kyle Phillips also plays the slot as well for the Tennessee Titans. And I think a lot of people are missing this right now, but Robert Woods is not the same Robert Woods when he was here in Buffalo. Like, he's bulked up. He's a physical style wide receiver now. Like, he's a big, strong wide receiver. He could run block. And I think, he's really going to be a good test for Dane Jackson, for Christian Benford and Kaiir Elam. It's going to be a great matchup to see. And rating-wise, we could see that Robert Woods, take a look at Dane Jackson and also Christian Benford. Now, I think Benford is definitely underrated when it comes to these stats, but we could see, look at that, guys. 13 and 6 would be 19. So statistically, Robert Woods is rated 19 points better than any defensive back on our team. Now, the thing is here, if you look at Kaiir Elam is actually 73. So, will the Buffalo Bills roll out Kaiir Elam in this matchup? Should be interesting to see. If you didn't see my previous video, I discussed why the Buffalo Bills might be preferring Christian Benford right now. And I really think it boils down to just overall awareness. Christian Benford is more aware than Kaiir Elam right now, and we're protecting Kaiir Elam from an injury because he's not fully aware. When it comes from like an athleticism standpoint, skill set standpoint, Kaiir Elam is a freak of nature. He's got some God-given abilities, but he's just not aware at this point. So I think that's why Christian Benford has gotten the start, and he's more durable. Like Christian Benford is 205 pounds, Kaiir Elam is 190 pounds. So, there's some added weight there, being able to withstand the NFL. Buffalo Bills linebackers versus the Tennessee Titans tight ends. They do have two dynamic tight ends, but they're more run-blocking tight ends. Like, they're bigger tight ends. And I think that is an area that the Buffalo Bills should definitely be concerned with, is kind of getting bodied out between Austin Hooper and Jeff Swan. You can see Hooper is actually 79 overall. He actually has 80 speed. They both have 80 speed, so they're still fast. Their strength isn't that strong. They're not that strong of tight ends, but they're pretty heavy. Like Jeff Swan, I believe, is 260 pounds. That's like an extension of the offensive line, blocking for Derrick Henry. Justin Hooper, I believe, is 255 plus. So when you're talking about them going against Tremaine Edmonds, Hooper is also 6'4". But yeah, you could see how good Tremaine Edmonds here is. Edmonds is rated 84 overall, so nothing to worry about there. I think Edmonds is definitely the better player out of their tight ends. just some final news, updates, and everything here. Buffalo Bills. Optimus is still in the chat. No more 13 seconds, he says. So they changed the rules. I know. Isn't that crazy? And I think that's just, something the Bills and Bills Mafia, man, that's what it is. That's what it is, We got really, really unlucky how last year's season ended. They changed the freaking rules. It's pretty amazing when you think about it. But that's the motivation you sometimes need to get to that Super Bowl. I mean, you see how complacent the Rams were winning the Super Bowl coming into this season. That will and that desire to be great, to win the Super Bowl, I think it needs to be fueled by something. And last year for the Rams, I think it was fueled by people doubting Stafford and doubting Von Miller and doubting Odell Beckham and doubting all the players that they brought into the Rams. And they really came together last year, the Rams, and they showed proof that, a team can get built by free agency and not, the draft. And they actually did that. And I think that was actually, their motivation last year. And I think the Bills' motivation this year, people just doubting us, saying that like we can never win the big game or the 13 seconds and all these things. But, we have a guy on our team, Von Miller, that has put us over the hump, and we're able to get pressure with only 4 players. That is absolutely dynamite for the Bills, allowing us to put more players in coverage, especially when we get against better offenses like Patrick Mahomes, the Tom Brady's, Joe Burrow, whoever else we face this upcoming season. It's going to be nice having that extra guy in coverage, not having to blitz. We all know what happens when we blitz against Tom Brady. Tom Brady's like, okay, you blitz me here, see, I'll get it right there. You blitz me here, okay, boom, ball's out. And we can't even get to him. So what's the point of even blitzing? And then if you play everyone back, they just run it down your throat. It's like the Patriots did. They only threw it 3 times against us. Now we have the players. We have the answers. Buffalo Bills have the right DNA and the right philosophy. We've merged, just like Ethereum, man. The merge. Like, we've merged our offense, our defense, our special teams. We have come together as one. And it's 2022. The Buffalo Bills are hungrier than freaking ever because of the 13 seconds. Even Josh Allen being rated the 13th best player in the NFL. Man, what another reminder right before the freaking season about 13. Get rid of number 13. That's all I got to say. But I hope you guys are hyped up for this game. I hope you guys are hyped up for this season. I will be going live again before the game. Monday Night Football. I don't know. I was thinking about actually going there and maybe filming, but let me know in the chat. If you guys are watching this live, make sure you like this, subscribe for future content. I do go live on Instagram, on Facebook as well, even TikTok. TikTok page is starting to blow up, which is pretty crazy. Even later tonight, I'll be going live on Instagram. So if you guys want more of this, go on to Instagram. We're going to be breaking this thing down fully. I mean, today's Thursday. Thursday Night Football is going to be rocking out tonight. So lots of good matchups. Stephon Diggs versus their corner. Baby, I'll take that all day. That's a great matchup for us. Ed Oliver versus the interior of that Titans offensive line. Von Miller versus Taylor Lewan. I'll take that all day. 11 points higher than Taylor Lewan, Von Miller. And Greg Rousseau, 10 points higher than Nicolas Petit-Fier, their right tackle. I think these are some huge advantages for the Buffalo Bills. And if we do get up by 2 or more possessions, I think it's over with. It's over with. We might see Malik Willis into the game. Who knows? They don't like losing, but it's been close. Bills and Titans have played one another, I believe, the past 4 or 5 seasons, and it just seems to always be a physical type battle coming down to the wire. And it could very well be that way, but the Bills are going to do everything in their power to run up that score. They want to keep Josh Allen on the sidelines. They want to run out the clock, win the time of possession, win turnovers, and the Buffalo Bills just want to run up that freaking score. Run up that score and do this thing. I don't think they don't have the weapons on offense to catch up. They can't do it. They can't catch up. Now, Dontrell Hilliard, he is a fast scat back coming out of the backfield, but still, he's not that dynamic of a weapon. Robert Woods, we know what Robert Woods is all about. He's more of a physical wide receiver. Now, he's not going to beat you over the top with speed. You got to see him. When you see him on the field, you're going to look at Robert Woods and be like, dang, he looks huge. He's big. He's big and strong now, Robert Woods. Big guy. And their other wide receivers, they're kind of smaller, faster, shiftier types. So we got the advantage of this one, Bills Mafia. I hope you guys all truly enjoyed this feed. Please make sure you like and subscribe for future content. I will check you guys